Sometimes God won't whisper, He will stop your life completely, not to punish you, but because your destiny is too important to continue on the wrong path. There comes a moment in every chosen one's journey where everything suddenly slows down, plans fall apart, relationships shift, doors close without warning, and the life you built no longer moves forward. It feels confusing, even painful. But this pause is not an accident, it is divine intervention. God interrupts what is comfortable to awaken what is eternal. In this sacred stillness, He removes the noise that has been drowning His voice. He separates you from people, places, and patterns that were never meant to shape your future. The job that ends, the friendship that drifts, the connection that dies out, these are not losses, but divine realignments. Heaven pauses your life when your calling is about to unfold. Most people see a delay, but the chosen see preparation. God slows you down because something in your spirit is shifting. Your old identity is shedding. Your old season is expiring. And the version of you that heaven is calling cannot grow in the environment you once lived in. Before God reveals your purpose, He stops everything that distracts you from hearing Him. This pause is not the end of your journey. It is the doorway to the life you were created for. There comes a moment, right after the divine pause, when something begins to move inside you. A quiet trembling. A whisper without words. A pull you cannot explain. You don't know why, but your spirit senses that heaven is rearranging something in the unseen realm. It starts subtly. The way your heart reacts to things that never used to bother you, the way your intuition becomes louder, the way your peace gets disturbed without any visible reason. You feel like you're being shifted, stretched, awakened from the inside. And no matter how much you try to ignore it, something continues to rise, gently, but persistently. This stirring is not panic. It's preparation. It's the spiritual vibration that happens before God reveals your calling. You begin to notice a strange contrast. The things that used to satisfy you suddenly feel empty. The environments you once tolerated now drain you. The people you once felt aligned with suddenly feel distant. It's not because something is wrong, it's because something holy is awakening. God starts rearranging your desires. You feel drawn toward deeper things: truth, purpose, clarity, silence, meaning. Your soul becomes sensitive to what is real and allergic to what is fake. You start feeling uncomfortable in places you've outgrown. This discomfort is not punishment. It is direction. It is heaven's way of telling you, where you are is not where you will remain. You don't know the full picture yet, but your spirit knows change is coming. A divine shift is unfolding. God is preparing you to recognize the calling He is about to reveal. Before God calls a man into his destiny, heaven always whispers first. The signs rarely come loudly, they come quietly, subtly, almost gently brushing across the soul. And only those whose spirits are awakening can recognize them. You begin to notice shifts that others overlook, the timing of events that feel too perfect to be accidents, the sudden clarity in moments that should have been confusing, or the way silence itself begins to communicate what words cannot. These are not coincidences, they are signals. Sometimes the first sign is a repeated message, appearing through conversations, scriptures, dreams, or even random moments that echo the same theme. You ignore it the first time. You dismiss it the second. But heaven repeats what you are meant to hear. Then come the disruptions. Your plans don't work the way they once did, doors that should open suddenly refuse to, and people who once mattered begin fading out of your life. It feels uncomfortable, but it is a divine rearrangement. Heaven disrupts what is wrong before it reveals what is right. And then there are the alignments, unexpected opportunities, timely encounters, unusual peace in moments that should bring anxiety. These small, almost invisible patterns are heaven's fingerprints on your path. God never calls a person without first preparing their spirit. Before the calling is revealed, the signs appear. Before the voice speaks, the symbols rise. Before destiny opens, heaven gives clues, subtle enough to test your discernment, but clear enough for your soul to recognize, because the ones who notice the signs are the ones ready to step into the calling.
There comes a moment on every chosen journey where God begins to separate you from what once felt familiar. This isn't punishment. It isn't loss. It is preparation. When heaven is about to elevate your life, God starts removing the weights that would keep you grounded. And often, those weights look like people, places, habits, or identities you thought were permanent. You start noticing distance with people you once trusted. Conversations feel empty. Certain relationships suddenly fade without explanation. It feels strange, uncomfortable, even painful, but something deep inside whispers, "This is necessary." Because God sees what you cannot see, He hears what you cannot hear. He knows what your future requires, and what it cannot carry. Sometimes He closes doors you would have forced open. Sometimes He breaks connections gently, before they break you harshly later. Sometimes He lets people walk away so that your spirit can walk forward. The separation season is a holy filter. It removes what drains your spirit. It protects what God placed inside you. It clears the path for where you are going next. Every chosen one must endure this season. It is the moment heaven says, "You are no longer who you were," and not everyone can follow who you're becoming. This is not the end of something. It is the beginning of someone, you, stepping into your divine assignment.
There comes a time in the journey of the chosen one when everything outside becomes unusually quiet. No more noise, no more people interrupting, no more connections you once clung to. Instead, there is a sacred silence. It is in that silence that God's voice begins to resonate, not in sound, but in intuition. Not in words, but in knowing. You begin to feel a soft but persistent calling in your spirit. A sense that you are being led to something greater than yourself. It is not loud, not pressing. But it never goes away. When you try to ignore it, it returns. When you try to busy yourself to forget it, it appears in the quietest moments. It is the voice that God reserves for those He has chosen. The voice that makes your heart tremble even though you don't fully understand why. The voice that takes you places you never thought you could go. The voice awakens the dormant power in your soul. That is when you realize, you no longer belong to the old things. You can no longer live as before. You are called. But called in silence, and whoever hears that voice, not an ordinary person, but someone destined by heaven, now, that whisper is leading you to the next part of your journey, where the calling becomes clearer, stronger, and undeniable. When God begins to call you into your true calling, the first battlefield is not the outside world, it is within you. This is the stage where the soul goes through a silent but fierce battle, between the old, familiar self and the new version that God is creating. Your old self wants security, wants comfort, wants to go back to the old way of life, the old way of thinking, the old relationships. It fears change. It fears stepping out of the familiar. It whispers, "You're not good enough. You're not ready. Don't try." But the new soul that is awakening says the opposite. It's time to move on. It's time to become who you were meant to be. Those two voices are not gentle, they battle in your mind. In your emotions, in the choices you make every day. You feel tired, you feel torn, you feel like you're caught between two worlds. This is not a sign that you're going wrong, it's a sign that you're going right. The truth is, everyone chosen by God must go through this inner battle. No one enters their destiny without facing the old self that wants to hold them back. But this battle is not to destroy you, it is to separate you from your old self, so that you can stand firm in the new level God is preparing for you. And at the end of the battle, you will realize that the old person no longer matches the soul you are becoming. The moment of revelation, when heaven finally shows you why you were chosen, there is a moment in the journey of the chosen that no one can prepare for, the moment heaven opens your eyes. Not with a thunderclap, not with a brilliant miracle, but with a realization so profound that your soul trembles. After a long battle with the darkness within, torn between the old self and the person God is forming, suddenly everything becomes clear. The scattered pieces of your life, the losses, the breakups, the pains, the separations, begin to connect like a picture that only heaven can paint. That's when you understand, you are not abandoned. You are chosen, and every difficult season you go through is preparation for a greater mission. In that moment of revelation, you deeply sense that God has never left. He is just clearing the way, digging deep, separating you from what is not yours to bring you to where your soul is destined. A supernatural peace envelopes you, a strange certainty fills you, a call from heaven becomes clearer than ever, and for the first time, you understand why you were chosen. When your life begins to match your calling, there comes a season in every chosen one's journey when confusion fades, resistance loosens, and life itself begins to quietly reorganize around your calling. It doesn't happen with noise or fireworks, it happens through alignment. The people who drained you begin to fall away. The opportunities that once felt forced now unfold effortlessly. The path that used to feel foggy starts to become clear, step by step, breath by breath. Alignment is heaven's confirmation. This is when your desires begin to shift. You are drawn to places, habits, and environments that feed your purpose rather than distract you from it. You stop chasing what was never meant for you. Instead, blessings start to find you, showing up at the right time, in the right way, through the right people. Your inner world and your outer world finally begin speaking the same language. You start hearing the voice of God more clearly, not as a distant echo, but as a guiding presence. The heaviness you once carried quietly lifts. The strength you didn't know you had begins to rise. You notice signs, synchronicities, patterns that confirm you are walking in the direction heaven designed. Alignment does not mean everything becomes easy. It means everything finally makes sense. Your life begins to match your spirit, your steps begin to match your purpose, your journey begins to match your calling. And deep within, you realize, this is the life heaven always intended for you.
Take a deep breath.
When God gives strength for the path ahead, there comes a moment in every chosen one's journey when the shift finally happens, not around them, but within them. It's the moment heaven strengthens what once was fragile, ignites what once was dim, and stabilizes what once felt uncertain. After the revelation, after the alignment, comes the empowering shift, the divine infusion of strength, clarity, and spiritual courage. This strength is different from anything you've known before. It does not come from the mind, but from the spirit. It rises quietly, like a flame that refuses to die. It is the confidence that does not come from ego, but from assignment. It is the peace that makes no sense in the natural world, but fits perfectly in the realm of the divine. You begin to realize that everything God removed, everything God shifted, everything God exposed, was preparing you for this moment. The weight that once crushed you no longer feels as heavy. The fears that once controlled you no longer have authority. The voices that once confused you begin to fade into insignificance. Instead, there is a growing courage within you. A quiet determination. A divine resilience. You don't walk the same, think the same, or carry yourself the same. You sense that God is not just walking with you, He is pushing you forward, strengthening your steps, and empowering you to walk boldly into your destiny. This is the moment when the chosen one stops surviving and starts advancing. This is the shift that prepares your soul for the mission ahead. There comes a moment in the journey of the chosen one when all the waiting, all the struggles, all the challenges suddenly make sense. That's when you realize, God didn't just prepare the path for you, He prepared you for it. After seasons of rejection, separation, shaking, bumping, and lifting, your soul now enters a whole new phase, the phase of living out its destiny. No more doubt, no more turning back, no more why me, because now you know, you were made for this. The walk of purpose is not a gentle walk, it's a conscious, steady, mature walk. You begin to say what your soul needs you to say, do what God prompts you to do, enter the doors that are open to your destiny. And the most beautiful thing is, you are no longer walking alone, you walk with God, you walk with the confidence born of testing, you walk with the strength He filled in the empowering shift. This is the moment when your whole story comes together. This is where pain becomes strength, where vulnerability becomes revelation, where the journey becomes testimony. You finally step into the life you were born to live, the life heaven prepared long before you even knew your purpose.